What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man, and yes, I'm back at it again. And this is My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 12, aka Episode 75, discussion slash review, man. After last week's heavy chapter with Lemillion losing his powers and him still putting in work on Chisaki, aka Overhaul, they hit us with another gut-wrenching punch, man. Because this episode, like I constantly say, we are dangerously closing on the parts to where I stopped reading the manga because I still wanted to be surprised when I watched the show. We're approaching very, very fast to where I stopped reading the manga, but I knew all of this was coming, and it's still, like I constantly say, season 4 hits very, very different, and I knew it was coming, and it still is a shock to me when I see it on screen with the animation and the color, the voice actors and everything constantly week in and week out. Season 4 hits different for My Hero Academia for me. Oh boy. Okay, man, let's dive right into this episode. Okay, so we picked up right after last week's episode, and before that, though, we kind of went back a few paces and we kind of see what led up to Midoriya breaking through the walls. I didn't talk about it last week at the end of I didn't talk about the ending part of last week's episode because I wanted to talk about it in this episode because it kind of just coincides all together. So we go back before Midoriya breaks through the walls, and we see Rocklock and the police and NIGHTEYE and Eraserhead and Midoriya and everybody's talking about how are they going to get to Lemillion and save Eri and everything. And let's be real, 100%. Your boy Rocklock was stating straight facts in this episode, man. He's hurt, so he can't really continue to chase down the Yakuza or the League of Villains because they now know that the League of Villains are there. But thanks to, I can't remember his name, but the Mimicry Quirk guy, NIGHTEYE put it together that there's only Toga and Twice that's there. So that's not what they know that now, and they've came in contact with him, so they know that they're there, and it's only those two. But at the same time, we had a flashback of Midoriya kind of thinking about what Eraserhead said, that, well, once we find out that the League of Villains is involved, you guys are done. That's it. You guys can't participate anymore. But situations have changed, so they have to stay in. They have to stay involved in the mission, and Eraserhead kind of acknowledged that, but also at the same time, he's still a little wary of the League of Villains because they've had a clash with Class 1A so much, so he's still a little wary. But Rock was speaking straight facts, and he even called Midoriya Deku at the end of his speech, and he shouted out Sun Eater, Fat, Red Riot, and everybody. And he was like, I can't participate anymore. And the main reason why he was so adamant about not letting these kids take place in this raid was because we found out, I knew from the manga, but 4 months ago, he had a baby with his wife, and she's a couple years younger than he is, and he has a different outlook and a different feel when it comes to kids in the world and powers and everything. So he wants to protect the children because he now is a father and he has a child. So now we see why he was so weird towards them in the meeting and everything, and why he felt the way that he felt, because now he's a father himself. And he's only thinking about their parents and them being children. But his speech was so on point, man, and it was magnificent to see his character give that speech, because we were wondering why he felt some type of way about the kids, and they showed it. And I love the fact that that's why he done it. That just amps up his character 100%, man. But yeah, then we get him saying that, let the police handle this guy and the stragglers. You guys go ahead and help Lemillion and chase down Chisaki and save Eri. And then he called Deku at the end of his speech. So then, poof, we jump right back into seeing Midoriya smash through the wall and punch Chisaki, man. It was great. It was epic, and we knew it was coming. But like I'm constantly saying, man, it happened this episode, man. My poor little heart. Deku was putting in work. He was. But let's be real. We knew he couldn't really keep up with Chisaki, and with Eraserhead erasing his quirk for those few moments, it really helped. But then at that time, we also see another flashback where we see this episode really showed us a lot of flashbacks to kind of really just lead us up to everything that happened up to this point. Because next week, we're diving straight into action. I know we're not getting no flashbacks, nothing. It's going to be straight hardcore action next week. And some stuff is going to unfold next week, man. So we know that he, while everything is taking place, we see the flashback of him, kind of reorganizing the chronostasis guy, and he ended up using his power on Eraserhead to slow down his time so he can't move that fast. And when that happened, it also made Eraserhead close his eyes, and Chiaki was able to activate his quirk again. Now, Midoriya was putting up a fight with him, but he was trying to really just go ahead and knock him out and finish it. But at the same time, Chisaki is a little bit more battle-hardened, and Lemillion and NIGHTEYE were miles ahead in Midoriya in combat ability. Now, his strength is, like well above theirs, but combat ability, they've seen more battles, they're more trained, so Chisaki was able to predict Midoriya's movements. But let's talk about the fact, because I just kind of glossed over it, the fact that NIGHTEYE was putting in work against Chisaki as well, and NIGHTEYE power is nothing but the foresight. And NIGHTEYE is one of my favorite characters. I love NIGHTEYE, and it was so hard to see him be stabbed and impaled. And the same thing that Mirio felt, it's the same thing that I felt about NIGHTEYE, man, because I love this character. Then we see flashbacks of him this episode, him and All Might, and him and Mirio, him telling Mirio to predict his opponent's movements. There's so many, the flashbacks, in case a lot of people didn't like it, the flashbacks really served a purpose this episode for me. I mean, I knew what was happening still, but the flashbacks served a wonderful purpose, and they done their job very, very well. And I love the fact that this is how everything's taking place, and the flashbacks kind of show how everything is held up in comparison. And we also got a flashback of seeing Chisaki testing on Eri and finding out that, the dude's telling him, oh, well, she's tired. We've been experimenting all day. Okay, well, he's like, well, now it's time for a restart. And that's how many times, he done it multiple times where he deconstructed her and put her back together, deconstructed her and put her back together. But we also have this episode, the chronostasis guy has put Aizawa Sensei in another room, and he kind of not spoiled, but kind of just went into depth about their whole plan, because Chisaki is adamant about learning more about quirk erasing abilities. Now, like I said last week in my review, that's very hypocritical of him. And NIGHTEYE, I want to say NIGHTEYE, it was either NIGHTEYE or Mirio, but either or, one of them mentioned the fact, I want to say it was NIGHTEYE, because he seems more, don't get me wrong, I love Mirio, but that you saying that you want to erase people's quirks and you're constantly using your quirk and in a fear of losing your quirk, you're hypocritical. And that's a hypocrite. Like, you want to erase people's quirks, but you have no problem using your own, or you don't want to lose yours. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, at times, oh boy, this show, man, it's so great. Like, yeah, like the last couple seasons were wonderful of My Hero Academia, and they had some great fights, and everybody loved the tournament arc, and us seeing the United States of Smash against All For One. But this season is totally different, and we're only 12 episodes in. We're getting 12 more. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for the season to end, so I can dive straight back into the manga. I'm just being 100%. But yeah, man. So we have the whole fight going, and at this point, NIGHTEYE's impaled, and Mirio's losing his stuff, and Midoriya is just going ham because NIGHTEYE's impaled. He was already pissed and upset that Mirio was attacked, and my poor little heart just about broke when NIGHTEYE and Midoriya heard that Mirio lost his quirk. I was just as upset as they were, and I saw it happen last week, but them showing it again and them finding out everything, it broke my heart today. Oh boy, this show, man. I'm telling you, season 4 is different. And then we also have where we see Chisaki fuse with the other guy, the guy that can ask the questions, and he kind of deconstructed his body in that dude's body and reconstructed them together. Now he has 4 arms. Dude looks like a monster. Now he looks like he's about to overhaul something, and that's just amplifies his credibility as a villain, man. Let's be real. Like, this dude is like, he's a hypocrite, but he's a real villain, man. And the episode was getting ready pretty much to wrap up, and Lemillion was trying to save Eri, and he's lost a lot of blood. He can't really, his vision's blurry. He's about to pass out, and Chisaki starts to talk to Eri, and Eri comes back, and she was willing to go back to Chisaki, but only if he put everyone else that was hurt back together, and that kind of just goes along with what we happened when we first met Eri, when we were in the alley, and she was like, she's more okay with herself being tortured than having others hurt in her place. But Midoriya stood up at the end of it again and was like, no, you're crying, so don't go with this. Man, this season we're going to see a different Midoriya as well, and you can already see hints and shades of it coming along as well, and I'm super excited. But I didn't skip. I was just kind of saving it to the end. You guys don't forget that we have Twice and Toga roaming around the facility as well, and Twice came up with a plan to piss Chisaki and get revenge on all of the Yakuza and make Shimura happy. Man, let's go. Oh, this season's so boss, man. That's everything that happened. Like I said, I really enjoyed this episode, and I didn't mind the flashbacks. I thought they were very, very helpful in the overall situation of everything that was happening in this episode. And my heart can't take anymore, man. Mirio, NIGHTEYE, oh boy. My Hero Academia does it to you yet again, man. That's everything that happened, and like I said, I love this episode. It went perfect with last week's episode. I love both of them, and finding out everything and the flashbacks, and it all went together perfectly to me. I really, really enjoyed it, man. This is what incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. But only if you really want to, man. Remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.